So, time to tell you about yesterday. Like I said, I woke up at 2, couldn't sleep. So at 3, I just started to get ready, and I'm thinking, oh well, it's gonna take me like 2 hours ish to get there to the Mount Fuji area. Turns out, I'm not sure because Google said that there aren't any trains, but I still think there actually were, so I don't know. But I didn't go until like 7 or something. And it's funny because also when I looked up on Google, it said, oh, you can take a taxi for 10,000 yen. I was like, no. Or no, it wasn't 10,000, it was more. I think it was between 30 and 40,000 yen, around there, to Mount Fuji. Then you're gonna go back. I was like, that's crazy much money. Why not just take the bus? So first I need to take the train a few stations, and then I took a bus. And then maybe I took another bus. I don't remember. But all in all, I think it's around 5,000 yen there. And then around, oh no, actually even less. So in total, I spent less than 10,000 yen going back and forth. Like, why take the taxi? But I want to travel cheap, as much as possible, because the longer I can actually stay here, and then I can spend money on gifts or clothes to myself. I'm so gonna update my wardrobe now while I'm in Japan. But yeah, so I arrived here, Kawaguchiko station. You see it? There. And this is the area. There are 5 lakes around Mount Fuji. And it was so amazing. I think I posted it, but because the further you went, because I started on the highway literally, and then the more you went in the bus, it was like 1.5 hours ride, I think. It became more and more beautiful, more and more nature, and the mountains and the opposite of mountain. Berg och dalar, as we say in Swedish. And it just looked so beautiful. I'm like, damn, if I'm gonna live somewhere in Japan, why not live there instead of in the middle of the city and just wake up to this beautiful scenery every day? And then when you could see Mount Fuji, I was like, oh, it has to be that one, that has to be the mountain, It was so big. I don't know, I've always seen it in pictures that this is how Mount Fuji looks like, and I know what the mountain looks like, but it was so different. But I guess you always see it from this typical angle, the mountain, and then you have the little red temple thing, and then maybe some sakura branches or something. But to see it from I don't know, but it was so big, it was so beautiful. Especially now when it has snow on the top, it's even more beautiful. So my plan was originally to go to Aokigahara first, but then when I arrived, I was like, no, I don't want to. I'd rather see Mount Fuji, because I looked up the Tenki Yoho weather forecast, and it said that the weather would be clear today, aka yesterday. So it's good. I want to be able to see the mountain if I go there, So I decided, hey, the weather is good now. Let's go see the mountain now. Because I don't know, in a few hours, in 2-3 hours, the weather may change. And then, such a waste. The forest will still be there. And it's fine to go in the forest even if the weather is bad. That would actually maybe even be better, like cooler. I don't know. So I asked the lady where to go, or if there was any special place she recommended. And she said... here's like a famous museum, and then there's a viewpoint over here. I didn't make it to over here, and she said like to walk this red line, that this would be like 90 minutes or something. I was like, no, but it took me a long time to walk. I think I only walked this first part here to here, and then I took the bridge over, so I just did this little one. And I was there at around 9, but everything was closed. I think they open at like 11, Seems on some of the signs it's at 11. But I don't know. But that was very weird because like it's 9. Shouldn't you be open? So I think I went into a store that was actually closed. But it said, you know, draw open the door. So I did. And I came in and no one said get out. So I was like, okay, let's look around. And then it was funny because I talked with the man who worked there. And I said, I'm from Sweden. He asked. I'm not like, hey, I'm from Sweden. But he asked me. So he had also been in Sweden. He had been in Stockholm and in Kiruna to see the Northern Lights. And he had stayed at the Ice Hotel. Which is fun because I have been in Kiruna and I saw the Northern Lights. And I have also been at the Ice Hotel. So we talked about that for a little bit. And that was cool. I think I mentioned it. But it was, you know, actually like longer conversations. Like, hey, nice. And then I went on with my little walk. Oh, a tip. It's January right now. And I did not think this through, but it was cold. I was cold the entire day. I have the like long johns, you call it in English. But you know, like the extra clothes you wear under your clothes when it's cold. I have it, but it was here in the room. I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think. Because you know, it's higher up. It's mountain area. So already stepping out of the bus, it was like, God, why did I not bring those extra clothes? Because I have them, so it's like, but I even bought them in case it would be very cold. Why? So if you go in January or something, you know, a colder season, take it with you. Or just take it with you just in case it's bad weather or it's very windy. You can... you have like baggage lockers for 300 yen. That's nothing. So it's very cheap if you just want to stow them away anyways. Or even if you have luggage, you can just pay for it to be in a locker. So that's convenient. Yeah, so I walked. It probably took me an hour. I took some pictures. And I'm so happy I did this in the morning because later on when I returned from Aokigahara, it wasn't cloudy, but the sun did not shine upon the mountain in as a majestic way as it had earlier. So I'm so happy I got those pictures and, you know, the top was clearly visible, I think. But I'm so happy I did the Mount Fuji first, that I took the pictures and that I walked, 100%. And then if you take the blue, you still take it from, well, you can probably take it from other places, but from the station where you started. And you go here, over there. Because I looked on TripAdvisor, like, oh, you know, like tours to take in Aokigahara, and the cheapest one were 6,600 yen. And then they went up, you know, like crazy amounts of money. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like that is, maybe it's worth it, I don't know, but it's like, it was crazy. It's like way out of my budget, at least. Like, okay, I will return when I'm a millionaire, apparently. And maybe it would have been more fun, but if you had a guide or something. And the videos I've seen, they kind of walk on like these special paths, on like wooden paths, but where I walked there wasn't any of that. Then Aokigahara is slightly bigger and there were other paths to take than the one I took, but still, it's not really what I thought it was. I mean, it was just like a normal walk in a forest, and the forest was very beautiful. I really liked it. It's cool. It's like a normal forest. Well, it's like a normal Swedish forest that I'm used to, but at the same time, I'm not. It's like the trees are different. So it's the same, but it's different, which was very cool. And I thought it looked very awesome. I liked it. It was very, yeah, it was a very pretty forest. I didn't see anything weird or anything like that. So it feels like a little exaggerated. I'm not disappointed that I went, because I have wanted to visit Aokigahara for a long time, and now I have done it. So it feels good, because if I hadn't gone there, I would still always wonder, and I would, because I was kind of, let's just go home, let's skip the forest. But I was like, nah, I'm here. I'm not gonna go back, probably, maybe. But I'm not gonna go back to this area, probably. So let's do it while I'm here, or you will regret it. So now I don't have to live with the regret. But it was just like a normal walk in any forest. It wasn't anything super special about it. But like I said, maybe I went in from the wrong side, and maybe there were a guided tour somewhere else which I could not find. I went Aokigahara. They have a whole web page in Japanese. Did not help me at all. There were no English translation of it, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could have gotten more out of the experience. But yeah. And then one thing I want to tell you about, which I didn't know until later on, and I was like, seriously, lady, you tell me this now? So first, like I said, I walked this red around here for a while. It took me probably 1.5 hours-ish. Yeah. And when I came back and said, oh, I want to go to Aokigahara, she's like, you just want to go there once, or do you want a return ticket? I was like, I want a return, please. I want a return, please. And then she said, you can just buy an all-day ticket. I was like, what? And then it says here on this paper, actually, which I did not see, or I didn't think about it. And she's like, yeah, it will be cheaper. I was like, but you see this red line? I could have taken the bus. I would not have needed to walk in the cold, because it's cold. Because I thought when I get back from Aokigahara, maybe I can take some of these trails and see Mount Fuji from a different perspective, or just visit some of the other places here. But there was no time for that. I was unlucky with the buses. So I had to wait almost an hour for the bus to go here. And then when I was done, I had to wait almost an hour to just get back. And then it was late. So I just wanted to get home. And remember, it's super cold, especially now. Now the sun went away. So it became super cold. For like 10 minutes, the sun was there, like in the middle of the day at lunch. And I was like, it was super warm. I was like, ooh, let's take off my clothes. You know, it's like super, like my jacket and my... because it was super warm. But then as soon as the sun went away, it started getting really cold. But yeah, buy the all-day ticket immediately from step 1, and you don't have to walk and waste all that time that you could have spent better. And then also, if you're not blind, but at the station here, there are many different bus stops, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going all around, and then some bus stops like in the middle of the big lot. But at number 1, the one closest to the like station house, there is this nice little timetable, which is easy to read even if you don't know kanji, because you just say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then it says, you know, it's a green one, and then it says like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So okay, 7, 10, 7, 8, 10, 9, 10. You know, you can read it you understand it even though you don't know kanji, which says which times the different buses go. I could have used that. I wouldn't have missed the buses with just a few minutes if I would have known that I can read this table, but I didn't think about it. I'm like, yeah, I will go here and then I will do that, whatever. But yeah, to save you some time. Was there anything more here? Yeah, but I would definitely recommend going around and see more than what I did. The good thing on doing it on foot is the photo ops, of course. I was probably somewhere around, like, yeah, probably around here, but I liked that part. I went to the water and just took some pictures, and it was super pretty there, and some shops as well that I went into. It's not worth not taking the bus because of the shops, but it was still funny. I would never have talked with that Japanese guy that had been in Sweden otherwise. But it would have been fun to see more of the area and been able to visit more of it. And you definitely need 1 day for this. You could definitely take 2 days, you know, take it as a weekend thing. and just sleep at one of all the various hotels and resorts. They had an onsen somewhere, and I was like, oh, that sounds so nice, but I didn't have time for it. But definitely, because it's quite big, and especially if you walk. I've seen some people who are like hiking and backpacking. I don't know where or how, but apparently that's an option. So I'm sure you can do that as well. So it's like, yeah, definitely. And there are interesting things to visit along the way. And yeah, I definitely recommend going there. It was so awesome seeing Mount Fuji. I was kind of sad that I did it as early as I did on this trip. Because now, like, I've seen Mount Fuji. What else am I supposed to do now? But I think it's gonna be hard to kind of top that. I mean, of course, I'm gonna do so awesome things further on. And I mean, just in a few days, someone will take me to Harajuku, and we will go around there, and maybe I will meet up with someone today, and we will also walk around. And I mean, of course, I have so many amazing things left, but just seeing Mount Fuji, it was such a, majestic sight. So I'm so happy about it. So I'm also, yeah, what I do now, but 100% worth it. 100% worth it. Yeah, and then. Yeah, I always double check when I'm gonna take the train or the bus, and I'm so happy I did that yesterday because I was gonna take the bus to Mount Fuji. He asked me, where do you want to go, and I said, oh, I want to go here, and he's like, yeah, you're on the wrong side, you should be on the other side. I'm like, thank you. Also, remember, it was cold. I had been waiting for like 20 minutes, and then he came along, and if he hadn't told me, I would have waited 40 minutes in vain and then have to wait for like an hour for the next bus. So I'm so happy that he told me. Same with trains. Sometimes I usually ask, next train, is it okay if I take Tsugi no densha wa tadashi no densha desu ka? Just to be sure. And it's good that I have, because otherwise I would have ended up places I did not want to end up. It was kind of funny at the end yesterday. It was kind of weird. I don't really understand that, but when I want to take the bus home from the station, I went to the ticket booth and she gave me a ticket and it said 7:10. And I was like, yeah, but it's like either it was 7:08 or it was 7:12. I was like, why did you? No, it was 7:10, and I thought the time was the time when she gave me the ticket. So I was like, why did you set it in the future time? Because you didn't give it to me 7:10, you gave it to me 7:08. But that's apparently when the time when the bus goes. And maybe she thought I would find my way or not be stupid, but that's not how I work. So I realized that was probably my bus. I realized it, a few hours ago that was probably my bus. But it went away because it said for Shinjuku, and I was like, but that's not the same bus I came with. So I thought I shouldn't take that one. Because, yeah, it says for Shinjuku, and my station could be in between, but I don't know that. I don't know which stations. That doesn't say anywhere if my station is one of the stations. And I think I asked, but he might have said no. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyways, and she said like, oh, you have to wait for 1 hour and 20 minutes. And I'm like, what? It's like 18 in the evening, like 18:00. I'm super tired because for me, I went up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it's not 18 for me. So I hit it 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, it's like midnight for me. And I was so hungry as well because I had planned to kind of be on my way already back then, or even be home at that time. And then I waited for a bit, and then I just asked every bus that came, like, is this my bus? And just, in a way to try to, can I get on this bus? Even if it's not the correct one, maybe it still passes my station. And then one of the ladies, she looked at my ticket, and she's like, oh no. And she's like, come with me, I think. So she turned back and looked at me, so it's like, okay, I think I shall go with you. And then we went to the ticket lady, and I got a new ticket. Because in Japan, it's not... Because now oftentimes, and especially with the apps, you buy a ticket and then that ticket is available for like 1 hour or 3 hours or something like that. But in Japan, you buy a ticket for this next bus or for this time, 7:10. And if you miss it, you miss it. The ticket is not viable. Like, you can't use the ticket for the next one. Because if you missed it, that's your fault, and you missed it, go buy a new ticket. But they fixed a new ticket for me for free, which was very nice of them. She said, like, oh, secret, which I thought was funny. But it was nice of her. But I was like, but it was the lady who gave me. It's like, am I supposed to go to the right place and just take the right? But have you seen my white foreigner face? It's like, I don't know. Or it could actually have been that she gave me the ticket, and it was 7:12. And then it said 7:10 on the ticket, because it's one of those two, you know, just before, just after. But I actually think it was just after, because then I was like, but why didn't, once again, why didn't you set the correct time? So she already gave me a ticket for a bus that had already passed. So I was like, yeah, you should give me a new ticket, because it's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. And then because I just thought she was gonna fix like my ticket for the next bus, but this lady was like, come, because she when we came out of the station and the bus was standing over at the bus stop, she's like, Ichiban. It's like one person, one more, or some Ichi one something. So, and she's like, hurry, and I was like, oh, you mean me? Because I didn't know. I didn't understand, but then I hurried up and went on the bus. And I'm like, I'm so happy, because it was like 30 minutes after the lady said I should get on the bus. I'm like, lady, what's your problem? First you give me a ticket that's not viable, or, you know, that doesn't work, that's all that I have already missed, and then you say wait for 1 hour and 20 minutes when I could take a bus in just 25 minutes. It's like, why? Do you hate me, lady? So that was interesting. I almost fell asleep on the bus. And then I went home. I took some lunch at the first place I ate when I came here with the host, actually. And then I just went home straight to bed. And today I woke up at like 10 or something. So I slept for like 12 hours. I was like, yeah, I needed that. I needed to sleep for 12 hours. I needed to, yeah, definitely. And it's super sunny today and nice weather. And maybe I will meet up with someone. It's very fun, very interesting, everything. But it was super nice yesterday. So, yeah. See you, and I will update you more later on.